racing away from the 1400-meter marker. So there's a scramble on for the lead, and it's Leslie Shadowliner. Antigonus is right there. Admiral's Guess trying to overcome the draw. Mr. Fitz, Connect Me's along the inside, and then comes Truly Wicked. Shortstop's got the white headgear just behind Truly Wicked, racing 7-8 lengths off them. And Admiral's Guess is going along at a nice clip up front to lead it by that 4. Leslie Shadowliner, Antigonus, Mr. Fitz got about 8 lengths to make up. So move towards that 900-meter region. Then comes Truly Wicked, Connect Me. Shortstop's now racing 11-12 lengths off the leader, followed by Load Shedder. Marchetta's got 12-13 lengths to go. Behind that one there is Bay Tibbs, and on the outside is Ballymain and New Stream. They're really stretched out at the top of the lane, and Admiral's Guess there by 3. Antigonus the outside, Leslie Shadowliner, Mr. Fitz the green sleeves and cab. Towards the outside, Truly Wicked, then comes Shortstop. Down the inside, Connect Me. Admiral's Guess past the 200, still there by 2. Leslie Shadowliner. Mr. Fitz is coming around them. Antigonus on the outside. Mr. Fitz is now coming strongly down the inside. Bay Tibbs has come from nowhere. Mr. Fitz, Bay Tibbs coming with a late rattle on the inside. Bay Tibbs got up to win it. Mr. Fitz second, third to Antigonus. Number 13, Bay Tibbs, one of the trailers, turning to the home stretch and once again takes off the Bold Savannah. Another one for Garth Puller, and they win it by 3 parts of a length. There's a big salute. This one was formerly trained by Ormond Ferraris, and Luke Ferraris rides this one to victory. Mr. Fitz runs into second. Antigonus takes the 3rd position. 4th place goes to Leslie Shadowliner. New Stream also stays on very nicely from the business end. And further back, Admiral's Guess had a big lead coming to the 200. The winner really takes off 3 off the left-hand side. And at this stage, Admiral's Guess, but then the green sleeves and cap of Mr. Fitz comes well and then takes it up. And then Bay Tibbs comes with a strong claim. New Stream also running on very nicely. Tote favourite, number 1, Mr. Fitz. Number 13, Bay Tibbs, paid $5.30 until race 6. Back to the studio.
Well, there are many horses along one's interests in horse racing that win the maiden and just keep you interested in how they're going to go post-maiden, and that's the feeling I got with this horse. Both Garth and young Luke Ferraris, they had positive comments to say about this horse. But Garth's a master tactician, and I must compliment him for that before we start talking about the owner, etc., because it's all about trying to find the right taste with the horse that you like, and it shows you the ability and cleverly placed by you, Garth, in the C division handicap for him to be at the bottom of the weights.
Yeah, I don't know if it's that clever. I must be honest, he's a progressive type of horse. You can see by the way he ran from way off the pace the first time in a good time. And then they ignored him. And I said, with 57 and the way he finished last time and the time that he ran for the 14, with a lightweight, they've got to be good to beat him. Shane's horse is a very good horse. There's also Bold Savannah like him, and is a horse to be respected, obviously. And I just said to Luke, don't panic. He's got the stride, he's got the finish, he's got the weight in his favour. The rail is far out, which makes it a bit easier to come from behind. And he took all those things into consideration, and the fact that he rode him like he rode him the first time. He knew what he had underneath him. At one time it looked like the horses had got away a little bit, but when he puts in that finish and he lengthens that stride, he won a nice race. He's only, I think he's 2 years and 11 months old.
Yes.
And it's a big ask. I mean, when I looked at his age and I looked at the competition, I thought, hang on a second, maybe I'm stepping on him a bit hard. The only thing that was in his favour was that it was still a 14 and I hadn't gone further too quickly, so he can still go to the 18. I'd just like to say to Mr. Hoy, well done. Thank you for the support. David Ferraris, thank you for the support. You've got a nice horse here. I know this is one that surely should be over with you, and we'll look after the rest, and the other horse ran a good race in the second race. Yeah, and thanks to Hollywood for their sponsorship, Luke for riding a nice race, and Michael, Sam and the guys back at the stables for hard work.
You've said it all, Garth. There's nothing that I can pick your brain with, but I must compliment you. I mean, this horse, the way he's come on from his last start as well, certainly done an outstanding job with him.
Yeah, I must say, and I must mention Mr. Orman Ferraris, the horses came down in good nick. They'd had the grounding, and it makes a big difference. This was had the grounding in Joburg. They came down here, they'd had that long work. I just had to get them into racing fittle, which wasn't difficult. This was no problems. He's laid back, he takes everything as it comes, eats his food, goes to work, doesn't fresh, doesn't mess around. Yes, and I must say, thanks to Mr. Orman Ferraris.
I'll give our best to Mr. Hoy, whether you speak to him English or Mandarin. Tell him you said well done.
Yeah, don't worry, he'll be watching. I mean, they're 8 hours ahead. It's probably early hours of the morning there, but I'm sure he'll be watching. Thank you.
Well done to you, Mr. Hoy. Congratulations. You look to have a smart horse on your hand. And what about this ride? Ice Cool is our good friend Luke Ferraris. And if you watch the interview of Luke at his last start, I asked him a lot about this individual, and you just got the feeling there was a twinkle in his eye. And you're spot on, because he's a horse that you liked, after partnering last. In fact, you liked him from day one, I'm certain.
Yeah, he's always shown his ability from a youngster. I think our biggest concern was coming here with him still being a 2-year-old. He's only foaled in October, so he's still getting to 3. But I think today was a nice way to show his ability, and I think it was quite a tough field. There were some hard knockers, but yeah, he's definitely shown some of his ability, and I think there's a lot more to come.
It was 2 different races. The one horse was skated clear, and then the race began where the second horse was. But then you found yourself, languishing towards the back of the field. At any stage, did you think I was too far off them?
Yeah, from when he won his maiden year, he showed that how green he actually is, and I think he's still learning a lot, especially out the pens. He's pretty slow out the pens today, and he switches off like a light. And when I looked at the pace and how he was traveling, I was happy. I said, well, we've got to make do from here. And yeah, when I asked him to quicken, he was like a hot knife through butter.
And a matter of strides.
Yeah, no, he's definitely a smart horse. He's a lovely, big, strong boy with a lovely action.
Well, I wish you all the best with him. And the last time we spoke about the owner as well, Mr. Hoy, and he's watching. You brushed up on your Mandarin?
No, not yet. we've still been here. But yeah, I just want to say a big thank you to Mr. Hoy. Well done to my granddad, to Dad, and to my sponsors, Aventure.
Yeah, how often you get to speak to Granddad and Dad on a daily basis?
Yeah, Granddad and I speak quite a bit. Dad I'm always in touch with, especially after races. But yeah, it's lovely when a plan comes together.
Well, give them our best as well, Luke. But hearty congratulations with this fella. And I must say that you were spot on in the interview when he won his maiden. You had high hopes for him, and he's proving you right. Yeah,
thanks. Another big thank you to Mr. Pull and to his whole team back at home.
Nice one.
Thank you.
It's a double for Luke Ferraris, and a horse that just keeps you interested. Well, after this performance, I'm sure there'll be many that will be wanting to see where he's placed next, and I suspect it's not going to be over 1400. It could be a mile, it could be 1800. It would surprise me to see him go 10 furlongs next time out. He looks like a smart horse. Yes, he had the weight on his side, 52.5 kgs, but let's factor in, he hasn't yet turned 3. It'll all happen on the 16th of October when it's happy birthday to TIBBS. 13, 1, 9, and 7 is the way they cross the line here in race number 5.